Happy, I don't know what day it is. I don't know.
Happy Vlogmas.
Happy Vlogmas. We thought we would share for the post for December 25th some kind of, I feel like we both Annika and I had Christmas celebration reflections and thoughts this year. And so we thought we would share some of those. Do you want to start, Annika?
Yeah. So my family, when they get together, will choose a country to cook food from for holidays, and they'll do that for like Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas. And I didn't see my family this year, so there was none of that. Hold on. Hey, Linnea Tobin, can we not do the yelling thing, please? Thank you. There's some intense Hot Wheels racing going on in the room across from mine. But yeah, so since I didn't see my family for holidays this year, we did like really low key like cooking, which means that we did nachos for dinner. And I mean, like, I personally had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch. So like super low key.
That's like the diet of my dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean diet, not like, when I say diet, I mean like not lose weight diet thing, but like what you eat to diet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was good and it was low key and it was nice in that regard. And like, I'm always game for nachos. But I don't know, like, I honestly love the research that goes into the countries every year that we choose for every holiday. And I'm like really sad that didn't happen this year. And
that is a really cool tradition.
Yeah, I mean, it's what happens when you have a whole family full of teachers who like to cook. Just everything's a learning experience. Like growing up, we used to have to, like, my sisters and I used to have to write like, and my cousin had to write like essays about the country and like
Merry Christmas.
Read a bunch of books about said country, which like at the time I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not in school. Why are you making me do this? And now like I love it. So I don't know. But yeah, so I'm honestly like, I was kind of sad to miss out on like the mass amounts of cooking and like research opportunities, I guess.
So do you think in the future, when it's just like you and the kids having Christmas, you will reintroduce that tradition except on a smaller scale?
Probably on a smaller scale, yeah. I don't know. Like,
I think you need to, if you haven't, I'm just going to say this, and you very well may have, and you have not asked for advice, but I'm just going to say this as a parent of older kids. If you haven't, it would probably mean a lot to your parents for you to thank them for teaching you that tradition and let them know, like, that it's become meaningful for you and something you want to share with your kids. Like, I don't know. I think parents should get gold stars when they build great traditions. Yeah. That's all. But I know relationships with parents are complicated, so you don't have to say anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. I'm shitting all over you.
I think, like, for the years where I have the kids at Christmas.
Yes, she's making her Harry Potter one.
Okay, great. I think for the years that I have the kids, like, I don't really see us staying home. Like, I do see us going down to Texas or California.
Yeah.
Like, wherever the family has decided to gather for the year for
So have you all decided it will be, like, the whole enchilada. Like whoever's year it is for Christmas will get Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so you can leave town if you want. Okay.
I mean, I assume so. We've talked about it before, and like our plans are to switch holidays every year. But yeah, since we neither of us live by our families, like travel is required for both of us. So I'm assuming that
Yeah.
like there will be some grace given and whatnot for both of us. Yeah.
Any other reflections?
I really hate how commercialized Christmas has become. And like it was interesting too seeing my kids be over it as they were opening gifts. Like commenting that like some of the stuff that they got was just like too much and like they shouldn't have been sent it or given it, and like I don't know, like that made me honest.
You froze.
Like,
Annika, you froze. Okay. The last thing we caught was you saying seeing your kids get over it and that they commented honestly they shouldn't have, and you were saying how it made you feel, and then you cut out. Are you frozen again?
am I frozen again?
Yeah, there you are. Okay, now you're back. Frozen again.
Okay. It made me feel like which is funny because you're not on my end and I'm not on my end.
I think it's on your end, right? Or do you think it's on mine? Because I didn't get your internet is unstable message.
I haven't gotten that message either. And like you haven't frozen on my end either, so I don't know.
You've frozen on my end.
Like you haven't frozen. Yeah, I don't know.
Anywho,
it makes me feel like I'm doing something right as a parent, that my kids are like, we don't need all of this stuff, like, and that they value. Like my kids' favorite gifts this year were the books that they got and the sweaters that I knit them and the pajamas that my aunt made them. And so like it makes me feel like I'm doing something right as a parent, that they like value the handmade stuff and like aren't like that they aren't just like, oh, I want everything. So that makes me feel like I'm doing something right as a parent.
Yeah.
But
well, that brings me to something that kind of ties into my reflections from this holiday. And actually, I have to grab a book to read from. Elizabeth Zimmerman, who actually had really kick-ass thoughts on all of this. I mean, like, this was published in 1974 when she wrote this, and I'm like, she is a prophet. Okay. So for the sweater you did, Annika,
the one I'm currently wearing,
is that the hurry up last minute sweater?
yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. It's that for that one. This is what she wrote in the Knitter's Almanac. So it's what's to be knit for December. And she said, add unto Christmas with discretion, delete at your peril. Is an exciting new improved Christmas every year really necessary? Is it in the spirit of the solstice? The human heart hankers after stability and tradition. The feeling and atmosphere of Christmases past, the anticipation of those to come, and the magic presence of Christmas now should all blend and blur, to give the distraught soul something to hang on to in a new year, bedeviled by new improved machines, soaps, music, spectator sports, and recipes, many of which will prove to be dull, destructive, and sometimes downright damnable. Let us try to keep at least Christmas the way it has been for generations, and infiltrate novelty delicately and with caution. As a good start, why not try to abide by the comforting tradition of handmade and homemade presents?
I love that.
Isn't that beautiful? So for me this year, our two oldest kiddos don't live in the state and weren't able to get home. Our middle daughter, our youngest child, is going through a very transitional stage where they are individuating. And sometimes when you're individuating when you're 18, you have to like reject your family of origin to an extent, or at least you're, yeah. And they're in that phase, and that's really normal. Like, I'm not, is it a little sad at times? Yeah, but I'm really not taking it personally because it's what I did. It's very developmentally on target, and I know they'll come around. You're frozen, Annika. Are we still frozen?
You're not on my end. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, you're on my end. Hold on.
You never froze on my side.
Hold on. Oh, well. It's me. I just got the internet is unstable thing. This is why this frustrates me, because we pay extra because we use the internet a lot for a lot of things in this house to do the terabyte speed. Like, this should not be happening. Which makes me want to quit our internet and go to a different one. Matthew says try switching networks. Even though I'm on what's supposed to be the faster, he's like, maybe the faster is slower. I'll switch. If we get disconnected, I'll call you back and just keep recording. It's fine.
Okay.
And just everybody now got to see what we name our network. Okay. Everybody just got to see, because I'm recording my whole screen, what we name our network, which is The Dude Abides, which is from The Big Lebowski. So, yeah. So anyway, hold on. He's texting me. Hamilton heard Matthew open up the oven to get my pizza out, and that's why he went darting down. Okay. So a lot of what Elizabeth Zimmer, so anyway, our youngest is in that individuating phase, and so they're really struggling with their relationship with me. They are, and all of that. So they spent they spent Christmas this year with their girlfriend. Totally fine. Their girlfriend's family is really lovely, and I'm glad they have people in their lives for them now, and I just know and trust that we're going to work through it. I mean, it's going to be thousands of dollars of therapy, but we're going to work through it. So anyway, so we had a very mellow Christmas. Christmas Eve, it was just Matthew and I. And Matthew and I hung out. We spent time with Annika together online. We ate pie. It was just very, very mellow. And I really liked it. Thank you. I got pizza delivered to me. Thank you.
Nice.
I know. Christmas Day, our middle daughter came over. And Matthew and she played a game while I spun, while I brought my wheel down to where they were, and we all hung out together. And we had so Annika didn't know this. Hi, Tobin. But we do a traditional Christmas nacho bar every Christmas Day, and we've been doing it for years. And so Annika told me they were going to do nachos, and I'm like, no way, we do Christmas nachos. So yeah, we kept that tradition. And all we got her was Matthew got me 2 albums. There was hardly any gifts exchanged. We got our daughter a board game and a book. And that was it. And I kind of loved it. I didn't go to the whole big thing. And I guess it makes me reflect on a lot. Like, I was thinking a lot about consumerism this year. And like, and I think what I've decided is I don't know how much I'll celebrate Christmas in the future. I think instead I'm going to focus more on winter solstice, which seems much more tangible and real.
Yeah.
And to me does feel connected to God. I feel like as a Christian who's actually read the entire Bible several times through, but is a progressive Christian, but still, I don't believe that Jesus would be down at all with what Christmas is.
Totally agree.
We've created this completely arbitrary holiday that was developed as like a response to paganism so that Christians would have something to celebrate at the same time. So the date is completely arbitrary. Jesus was not born in December. Spoiler alert. Then I think there was beauty in it. And I think it was something to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But now we've completely ruined it, I think, with all the consumerism.
I agree.
And to me, like, I actually, because I'm a Christian, what's more reflective to me of Christ is the solstice. Like, the idea of, and I wrote this on my Tomboy Femme Bags account, but like, my favorite verse in the Bible having to do with Christmas was like, what was it? And the light, like, and the darkness will not overtake it, talking about the light coming into the world. And I feel like the things I love about solstice is the darkness and stillness and reflection, which makes you appreciate the light. And so I think what I'm going to do going forward is celebrate solstice. There's a person on Instagram, Darky Yarn Crafts, and Sarah, my girlfriend Sarah, found this, just in case people didn't know yet. I don't know. I think everybody knows. But I don't know. Does everybody know?
I mean, they do if they watched the live.
Yeah. Anywho.
Weeks ago.
She liked this post, and then I saw it because I follow Darky Yarn Craft too. They made a Yule log for the solstice.
Cool.
Where you take a log and you put like fruits on it and pine boughs and all these things and burn it. And when I saw it, I'm like, I want to go to there. Like, that felt brilliant to me. And then what they did is everybody sat around and talked about like what they were grateful for from the past year and all of that. That seems far more meaningful to me. So I think what I'm going to do is really focus on the solstice. And it also made me think about my family and relationships. And this might be way more, but like, look, I'm in the middle of an intensive therapeutic process, people. And I'm in the middle of trying to heal all the relationships with all the people. So I'm just really reflective on that right now. And like with my parents, we're in a really strained place in our relationship. And so I didn't go to Christmas because of that. I did message them and tell them I wasn't going to go. And we are going to be beginning therapy together in January. But I feel like in the past, my parents, and I don't think this was their intention. I think it could have very well been what I inferred. But it seems like things are bought as a salve. And it just doesn't, like, I don't want a gift from them right now. Like, the best gift they could give me right now is embracing who I am. So I think that's what I was really thinking about this Christmas. And so I think next year I'm going to transform it into a solstice thing, which is more meaningful to me at this point in my life. And also, okay, there's this fiber artist called, let me find it. Hold on. Knit Spin Farm. And they did this thing. They did Christmas. They live in Indiana and dye fiber. And this is what I love. I'm following them now. And they do a subscription. And since the one with Forest Fiber Arts isn't going right now, I did this one and it's less a month. And they do a subscription for rovings.
Ooh.
This is what I love. First off, they are really into upcycling and reusing. So they did like a thing called Bat Vent, where they gave little bats that people were to spin. So I learned about them from the Fat Squirrel. And like, this is part of Bat Vent.
Ooh.
And what I liked and appreciate about their site is this. They listed all upcycled crafts to use during Bat Vent. So this was an idea they had, and the minute I saw this, I'm like, oh my God. And so I messaged it to Sarah, and I'm like, new rule, in future solstice celebrations, all the decorations have to be upcycled. No, we're not buying shit and like crap to lay around. Look at this. This was made from, they call them yarn stars. And they used a paper punch with food packaging waste.
Whoa.
And yarn scraps.
That's cool.
How cool is that? And I was imagining, like, imagine a garland on a solstice celebration strung with these.
That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be really cool? And what you could do is you could, instead of it having to be one-sided, you could cut out, like, both sides and glue it together. And then hole punch and string the yarn so that it's reversible. They also like, they live on a farm, but they bike commute to the farmer's market, which is like 25 miles.
Whoa.
Which, you know, I do long distance cycling normally, so that's like my jam. And I really appreciate their values, and I appreciated that they did that for Bat Vent. I mean, you know, I do the upcycled bags and try and do as much reusing of stuff as possible.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to do in future years.
Cool.
Celebrate solstice. And I really celebrated solstice this year more than I did Christmas. Like, I sent friends solstice gifts, and yeah, so. Do you have anything to add?
I think I don't, let's see if I can verbalize this. I think
Annika's not on Adderall right now, people. So.
Annika is not on Adderall. Annika's also on like, what, 3 hours of sleep? No, 4.5 hours of sleep, but in 2 separate chunks. Yeah. I don't know. But I think like this is kind of like one of those like adulting processes that like people don't really talk about, is like finding what's meaningful for you traditions wise and starting new traditions. And like I really feel like with our generation, like obviously like not necessarily like the millennial generation, I guess you're what, Generation X, but like with the newer non-baby boomer generations, like really going, and I've seen a lot of our friends and like other people I follow on Instagram this year who fall in our age ranges, really taking like a hard look at like why they're celebrating the way that they celebrate, and not dealing with family and societal pressures to celebrate the same way just because that's what tradition was. And like I really like this shift that I'm seeing start to happen where people are actually making the holidays like overall um meaningful, not just like Christmas or whatever. Like I really like this shift starting to happen. And like it's like I personally like it in my own life too, like just because ooh, pardon me. Just because like celebrating something that you're supposed to celebrate just for the sake of celebrating like sucks and like I'm not here for it. Um but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really thinking about all of it. It's all tied into a lot of stuff for me, but yeah. Okay, so we'll end. Do you have anything else to say? We don't have to
Yeah.
keep waxing philosophical anymore, and then I'll eat my pizza quick.
Pepperoni
Okay.
or crunchy?
I'm okay, but thank you.
Okay.
Bye, patrons.
Bye patrons.
We love you. Happy Vlogmas.